Gabimaru the Hollow was captured during an assassination mission and given the death penalty, yet nothing can appear to kill him because of his superhuman form. He is just too strong and his body cannot be damaged no matter what. Executioner Yamada Assassination Sajiri gives him the chance to be absolved of all sins by the shogunate if he discovers the Elixir of Life on Shinsenkyo, a mythical region newly found southwest of the Ryukyu Kingdom. Yamada Assassination Sajiri believes that his love for his wife is actually the only reason he is still alive. The shogunate sends a group of death row inmates, this time after losing 5 exploration teams that were sent to the island. Each of the prisoners is given a Yamada Assassination executioner, which they are required to bring back in order to receive the pardon. By beheading and burning, a shinobi by the name of Gabimaru avoids attempted executions while being angry at himself for not being able to die. He tells his interrogator that he attended shinobi training in the Iwagakure village, which gave him a superhuman body and made him a proficient killer. He claims he was betrayed to the authorities after asking the clan chief for permission to leave his marriage to the daughter of the tribe chief. After numerous unsuccessful attempts to have him executed, Gabimaru is brought before his interrogator, who is later identified as Yamada Assassination Sajiri, a sword tester and executioner for the Yamada clan. Gabimaru and Sajiri fight and Gabimaru realizes that she is super strong and a great fighter. Gabimaru loses focus in the fight as Sajiri mentally tortures him, especially after Sajiri says he is still madly in love with his wife. In exchange for completing a life-threatening task, Sajiri abruptly offers himself and his wife a full pardon and government security. In order to compete with other death row inmates for the elixir, he must travel to Shinsenkyo, a mythical location thought to be home to the elixir of immortality. Gabimaru reluctantly agrees when the prospect of living in harmony with his beloved wife is presented. He just wants to return and live with her and be at peace. Sajiri remembers the challenges she faced in overcoming her anxiety and reluctance during her early training as an executioner. The mission's more than 30 blindfolded condemned criminals get instructions from the 11th Seii Taishigun, Nariyoshi Tokugawa, a former expedition officer who is no longer human and has flowers growing out of his body, is revealed to the audience. They will each have a Yamada Assassination with them, but they are instructed to cut back on the amount of them, which sets off a killing frenzy. The selection process must be improved, Gabimaru tells the shogun, who is enjoying the carnage in front of him. Anyone who kills Gabimaru can join the mission, according to the shogun's top guard. The head guard of the shogun promises a spot on the expedition to whoever kills Gabimaru, who is then forced to fight for his life and mercilessly executes his assailants with his tied-up hands. Sajiri comes to the realization that her issue is not getting over her fear of killing, but rather accepting responsibility for the lives she takes. Soon after that, they start to read the names of the 10 convicts chosen to go on the mission. Gabimaru is one of the names read and he now joins the mission officially. After seeing that the leader of Iwagakure survived despite being fatally wounded, Gabimaru became convinced of the existence of the Elixir of Immortality, the Takajiki Kagami no Mai. When he and Sajiri reach her destination shore, he tells her that the elixir may not be what comes out of it. Suddenly, they are attacked by convicted criminal Twisted Kaon, a weapons expert at Kisho Yamada Assassin's company. Gabimaru survived all of the attacks and brutally killed Kaon with his own weapon, even with his hands tied at Sajiri's recommendation. Kisho returns to the ship with Kaon's severed head, and Sajiri predicts that the culprits have already started killing each other, and that almost all of them will be eliminated soon. But that means that Iwagakure will be sent instead. It just means that after Kishu leaves, Gabimaru attacks Sajiri with his sword so that he can find the elixir without anyone bothering him. Still in battle, he fails to land a fatal blow. Both of them realize that they are not empty and that they still have feelings because of their love for his wife, that accepting them is a strength, not a weakness. In another place, the culprit, Iwatesai Tamiya, is stung by something that looks like a human-faced butterfly. His left hand is cut off immediately, and his left hand withers, and a flower comes out of it. He and Gabimaru are surrounded by strange creatures and confront a strange monster. Gantesai tells Yamada Assassinbachi why he was sentenced to death, and begins eliminating other criminals to make the search for elixir easier. Meanwhile, Gabimaru and Sajiri are threatened by various gigantic fantastical creatures with Buddha-like features. After being attacked and injured by someone, Gabimaru is surrounded by many enemies with unknown abilities. He ignores all precautions and only attacks them out of survival instinct. He destroys most of them while protecting Sajiri in unusual ways until Genji Yamada arrives, accompanied by Senta Yamada and ninja criminal Yuzuriha to help him. increase. Yuzuriha murders him and leaves Genji alone after offering to work with Gabimaru in exchange for information about the creatures he has gathered by experimenting on the rebel Moromakia. While talking, Sajiri loses consciousness and collapses. Meanwhile, Azuchobai and his younger brother Yamada Asiman Tauma face a similar group of monsters. She felt she had the situation under control until Azu was injured and Toma was captured. Then chop up the monster with berserker rage. When Sajiri woke up, she was separated from the butterfly that had fainted her with poisonous scales. Gabimaru tells the others that in his solo expeditions, he discovered that many of the plants on the island belonged to former samurai sent by the shogun. Sina also shares knowledge gained since his arrival. Genji suggests that he serve as Jamaru's escort instead of Sajiri, citing his lack of combat skills, but Sajiri declines. On the other hand, the seaman Tanzasa Yamada tries to leave the island by boat with the criminal Nurgai, the last member of the Sanka tribe, but is blocked by a graveyard filled with samurai ships. Attacked by a monster and trying to escape across the rubble, they encounter a seaman Kisho Yamada, who is still alive but has flowers blooming from his body. He tells Sajiri, who is trying to save Genji, who is seriously injured, to run away. When she was about to be attacked by the monster Rokuroda, she was saved by Gabimaru. Gabimaru tries to measure Rokuroda's ability, but he can't find any weak points. A dying Genji realizes that Sajiri is walking the middle ground between her mind and reason, her weakness and her strength, and hands her her blade. She uses it to cut off one of Rokuroda's fingers and, along with Gabimaru, attacks him but is completely overwhelmed. Gabimaru is forced to attack Rokuroda with a fireball, using a technique from the ninjutsu Asket Blaze mode. As the jungle catches fire and smoke rises, Rokuroda loses his oxygen and falls to his knees, where Sajiri decapitates him. A giant monster on the island is drawn to the flames, and Gabimaru and Sajiri flee hell in the direction the monster came from. They both realize that the sooner they found the elixir, the more lives they could save and the sooner they could escape the island. They encounter Senta and Yuzuriha, a ninja criminal, and the small group arrives at the village. Meanwhile, after slaughtering the monster that attacked them, Azuchobai and his brother Toma encounter two strange people kissing in the jungle. Chobai and Tauma confront two strange beings called Tensen. They think that all humans are enemies. Gabimaru and the others meet a girl, but as they pursue her, they discover that she has powerful abilities and is protected by a large tree. After Gabimaru and Yuzuriha are both defeated, the being offers to take them to the village. In the village, the tree creature Hoko and his young companion may offer fruit and tell him that the place on Shinsenkaio Island is called Kotaku. The island is divided into three regions, the coast and forests and another mysterious region. On the other hand, Chobai and Tauma are easily defeated by Tensen. The brothers are thrown into a pit and become flowers, the source of tan. Prompted by Sajiri, Gabimaru takes a leisurely bath, remembering his wife's advice to relax in preparation for the upcoming battle. He decides to calm himself down and get ready for the new enemies. He just thinks about his wife and how he wants to return to her. Tenza remembers his childhood life as a street boy when he was accepted as an apprentice by Master Asiman Yamada, who saw his potential. Tenza and Nurgai continue to patrol around the island but are thwarted by the androgenic flame-colored Tensen hair, which Tenza easily brushes off. Tenza uses its speed to attack Tensen and decapitate her, but he regenerates and chases after her. They are temporarily saved by the blind but skilled Shin, who once again decapitates Tense. He explains that he killed the criminal Redcoat when he tried to lure him but was unable to find a current to take him off the island afterward. Suddenly Tensen attacked again and punched Shin in the throat. When Tenza attacks with a sword, she is mortally wounded. In her final effort to save Shin and Nurgai, Tenza attacks Tensen with her bare hands, offering her life so they can escape. In a hurry, Gabimaru passes through the unmoving trees and heads alone to Horai in the center of the island. He arrives at the temple, where he is confronted by the same Tensen who defeated the Aza brothers. Gabimaru goes into battle and he is moving super fast and using all his most precise and powerful skills. Gabimaru uses all of his moves and techniques against Tensen. The Tensen being recovers quickly from any attack as it is that powerful. When Tensen finally dies, it is swallowed by a flower, forming a large monster that is half plant and half human. The monster attacks and grabs Gabimaru, who remembers his training and uses his remaining energy to unleash the strongest possible attack. He goes all out using all of his power. Hauko takes Sajiri and the others to Horai and offers to find Mei. Meanwhile, 7 heavenly sages, Supreme Emperor Samantabhadra, Daddy Aksho, Jujan Emagavajira, Wise Dashan Ratna, Yuan Military Tathagata, Kungong Manjusri, and deified Dijan Kundi see the situation and consume the elixir. Gather for Hoko offers to take the others and go find Mei and Gabimaru, explaining that all humans who lived on the island were eventually turned into plants. Gabimaru, who has regained consciousness, is greeted by Gan Tessai Tamiya and Issei Monbuchi Yamada. Gabimaru is too weak to fight Gan Tessai and Fuchai. He is injured and too tired. He just cannot continue the fight at this moment. Center realizes that the island is not the real Shinsenkyo, and that the false gods are not real gods, and resembles the story of Moromakia, the founder of a new religion who plans to join the overthrow of the shogun. This island was actually created by them. It's not a real place. Gabimaru questions Mei about Tenzin and she mentions that they have the Tao. At the same time, Hoko tells the group about the Tao and the yin and yang that control its main force. The group learns how it resembles the flow of Kai, which is a combination of different forces. Nergai urges Shin to teach him how to use a sword. Then suddenly they are attacked by a band of mindless monsters. On the other hand, Chobai slowly pulls Tomi out of the hole who is about to pick flowers. There she encounters the Taoist, crazy monsters that are different from the mindless Sojin sent to investigate the human invaders. Chobai attacks Doshi, and Tomi attacks the approaching Sashin. Doshi attacks Chobai and Chobai is now slowly dying from the injury.